1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to.
Southside Pod!
Yes, we're on the air.
Pod.
And the gang's all here, all things on the South Side. We're listening to the Southside Pod. Looking for the best Southside breweries. Or you might just need an awesome place to eat.
Southside Pod!
Mount Greenwood, Evergreen, Blue Island, Beverly, Payless, and Allsup too. You're tuned into the Southside Pod.
Southside Pod!
Oakland, Midlothian,
Southside Pod.
Oak Forest, Chicago Ridge, Flossmoor, and Bridgeview. You're listening to Southside Pod.
My sister's decided now that her brother, because he's occupied with being a full-on single dad, being a single dad and stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking about yourself in the third person?
I am.
Okay.
She tells my mother I'm hosting Thanksgiving. Like, she's jumped in now.
Nice.
She doesn't even tell you.
No, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to do anything ever again. Because now I'm just like, I'm like the
you're
guy
welcome, is what you should be
Oh,
saying.
it's wonderful.
Thank you, yeah.
It's wonderful. Like, I don't need to cook. I don't need to do anything because they got to take care of me now. So it's like, we're having Thanksgiving. You come over to our house. So I don't need, I'm never hosting another thing again, which is great, it sounds like.
You know, if it was the other way around, you know, the wife would have been stuck hosting all of them.
Right.
That's how it happened in my family.
Oh, really?
My
Your
dad,
mom had to do it all the time?
my dad
Your dad
passed
passed it
away,
and your mom
and
had
my
to do it all
mom
the
was
time?
hosting everything.
No. Everybody feels bad for me right now. My sister's like, no, I got it.
It'll
I got
pass.
this. I got that. I don't know. I'm going to milk this as long as I can.
You really should.
I am.
So
I'm going to milk this as
you
long
should
as
totally
I can.
milk it.
Yeah, I'm going to milk it.
You should milk it.
What? Why was it weird when I said it? You guys, no, Chris said it, you said
The
it,
way
and
you
then
said-
when you
I
say
said
it's
it.
weird.
You're like, you should milk
You
it.
say it weird.
I just said it.
When you say it,
I said it no different than you guys.
Here's the thing.
No.
I could see you
Play it back, Chris.
use your hand with an
Milk it.
I
imaginary
didn't
udder. I could
know.
see you do it, but I think the listener actually felt you do that. That's the thing.
milk it.
You should milk it.
You should milk it.
Milk it.
You were smiling way too much when you said that, Bill.
So weird. You're so weird.
Oh, just milk it.
A lot on this show today. Tim O'Brien from the Beverly Review getting us ready for the high school football playoffs. We also have the University of Chicago on here with an interesting program for Southsiders. Your Southside Pod bulletin board, and Mike has the guitar out today. It's all brought to you by Family Waterproofing Solutions, the official sponsors of Southside Pod. They have express service. Know what you want, see the cost right on the website, order and schedule on-site immediately for quick service. They not only keep water out of your basement, deal with everything from sump pumps to bowing walls and window wells and foundation and crack repair, they also clean out the gutters. Your basement's best defense is at familydry.com. Joining me on the phone line right now from the Beverly Review. We've talked to Tim O'Brien so many times, but now is one of the best times of the year. How are you, Tim?
I'm good, Chris. How's everything on your end?
Man, I'm just looking forward to some football. I mean, this is always kind of a fun little time. If you want to get up and watch a game and you don't want to spend a ton of money to go watch competitive sports. And this time of year, the weather isn't that bad yet. I mean, you might get a rainy night where you're going to go watch a game, but the excitement kind of ratchets up a notch. So who are we looking at first off that you know is in and that you're like, these are the teams to beat. These are the teams that are going to go deep, downstate, and possibly win a title?
Well, we've joked about this. We could record this early in the year. You could save some time with the audio. Those Caravan from Mount Carmel have picked up right where they left off last year. You know, they're rolling. They're 8-0. They're going to be in. They're going to be a top seed, and I believe it's a 7A bracket. They've got a gigantic matchup this weekend. As much for bragging rights as anything, because I know everybody's already looking towards the state playoffs, but they're up at Loyola Academy in Wilmette on Saturday. You know, watch the Caravan for the next 4 or 5 weeks. If I was a bet man, they're going to be in the state semifinal, state championship game. As you look around, Morgan Park has been rolling all year. They took a tough loss week 2 to Mount Carmel and have just been destroying everybody since. They've got a fun matchup, a good rivalry this weekend at Gately versus Simeon. So that's the big two locally. St. Rita clinched the playoff berth last week with a nice win. So they're sitting at 5-3 right now, and they're a team that maybe they won't be 8-1, 9-0, but nobody wants to run into them in the bracket because they're battle tested. They're talented on both sides of the ball. So they're going to be good. And then as you look around other teams that have gotten in, St. Ignatius got in, Evergreen Park got in. There's some shockers. Obviously, Marist had some struggles. They're not going to make it. De La Salle's out. Marion's out. But yeah, like you said, this is a fun 2-3 week stretch, prolonging a little bit into Thanksgiving. This is easy. This is the best part of the year for this year as a sports fan. So, like you, I'm ready to go. Let's see what we can get going here in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Now, I know that 5 wins gets you eligible. 6 wins is what most people want. And then when you get higher up, you got home field and things like that. Is there anybody on the cusp who needs a win this weekend or on Thursday? Is there anybody that needs it either to become eligible or to solidify their spot in the postseason?
The biggest one locally is Brother Rice. They've had up and down year. They've dealt with some injuries, starters in and out. They're heading into Friday night's matchup against rival St. Rita at Brother Rice, win or go home. So Brother Rice needs a big one because, like you said, Chris, 5 wins, you're eligible. 6, you're in. They just need to get 5. The qualifier to get in on a tiebreaker is playoff points. So who have you beaten? How many wins did they have? So that's not in question. They're going to get in. They just have to win week 9. So Friday night, that's a big one for them. Could you imagine a better matchup week 9 to get into the playoffs? That's it. You got to go through one of your biggest heated rivals in the neighborhood. So that's a big one locally. As you look just around, another 4-4 team, kind of lost in the shuffle there because of all the schools around them is the Chicago High School for Agricultural Sciences. They're 4-4. They have a game Saturday morning against Little Village. Pat Aid, their coach, he's done a nice job kind of building a little bit after some tough years here. Just, you go to Brother Rice, they got 50 kids, 60 kids. Pat is working with, upper 20s and, holding it together sometimes with injuries and just all the stuff that comes up. So the Cyclones need a win to get in and get back to the playoffs for the first time since 2019. So those are the big 2 locally. If I'm blanking on anybody in advance, I apologize out there. I still love you. Brother Rice needs a win, or they're potentially looking at if they want to do the Prep Bowl playoffs, which, people aren't always the most excited about.
Tim is going to be joining us every week throughout the postseason, kind of following along with the Southside teams, seeing where they're going in the postseason. Some interesting storylines right now this weekend and Saturday night. They'll get the seeding, and then we will check in with you again next week. Tim O'Brien from the Beverly Review. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a busy next 5 weeks for us.
What was the rabbit's name in Bambi? It was Thumper. What's this called in radio speak? It's called a bumper. It's a bumper. Bop it. Twist it. Turn it. Milk it. What?
I love this game.
I'm sorry? Come again?
Pop it.
Yeah,
Pop
Chad,
it.
I love the toy idea, but maybe we stick to 4 commands and we'll lose one of them. Oh, you don't like bop it? No, not that one. Oh, should I take out twist it?
Milk it.
No, I was thinking maybe we leave out milk it. We have the turny thing, we have the bopper thing, but we're gonna take off the rubber udder sticking out the side. It just
Milk it.
in our focus groups. It just didn't played well with farm kids. They love the milk it
A
one.
lot of parents were uncomfortable.
Milk it.
Milk it. Kids doing this on the
It's stuck on milk it.
The way the kids were milking it was uncomfortable for everybody.
I'm still living with your ghost, lonely and dreaming of the West Coast. I don't wanna be your downtown. I don't wanna be your stupid game with my big black boots and an old suitcase. Do believe I've found myself a new place. I don't wanna be the bad guy. I don't wanna do your sleepwalk anymore. I just wanna see some palm trees. I will try and shake away this disease. We can live beside the ocean, leave the fire behind, swim out past the breakers, watch the world die. We can live beside the ocean, leave the fire behind, swim out past the breakers, watch the world die. Yeah, watch the world die. Yeah, watch the world die. You're listening to the Southside Pod.
Bop it!
Twist it!
Milk it!
It's so stupid. I wish I could see the toy in my head.
We had that toy. It was the worst toy.
This is the worst.
I hated that thing. Those kids would play with that toy.
I'm sorry. Like, I could just see the guy. Like, I see like a Saturday Night Live skit. Like, you're in a focus group, and for some reason it's Horatio Sands in my mind. And he's testing it out. He's like, okay, we got this new toy. He's like, oh, great. You know, like, twist it. He twists it. Bop it. Turn it. Pull it. And milk it. What? Like, he just, like, stops. Like, okay, what? Seems like you have a problem with it. I don't understand the whole milk it part.
Milk it.
Well, you know how to milk a cow, right? Well, I guess. Well, milk it then. And then, like, the end of the skit, it's like stuck on milk it. It's like, milk it. And he's just like, Horatio Sands is just jerking this toy off over and over. Milk it. And it's like, you win. Where did this liquid come from? What's inside of this? I am still dreaming of your face.
Hungry and hollow for the thing you took away.
I don't wanna be your good time.
I don't wanna be your fallback rock anymore. Walk right up to a brand new way. Insane and rising in my own will way.
I don't wanna be your bad guy. I don't wanna do your sleepwalk dance anymore. I just wanna feel some sunshine.
I just wanna find some place to be alone. We can live beside the ocean, leave the fire behind, swim out past the breakers, watch the world die.
We can live beside the ocean, leave the fire behind, swim out past the breakers, watch the world die. Yeah, watch the world die.
Oh!
Yeah, watch the world die. Hey! Yeah, watch the world die. Milk it.
I have a confession to make. It's true, and I'm guessing you have done the same thing. Put more time into thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for your retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I agree with you, and I want to help you out. I've got a local, experienced, down-to-earth guy who's a friend of this show. He's got a get-to-know-you approach and do the right thing values, and he's been around for over 20 years right here on the South Side. His name is Tom Walsh. He's located on the corner of 111th and Kedzie, and he's waiting for your call. In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call someone who's invested in your success. Reach out to Tom now, 773-779-0023, or pop in at the office right on 111th and Kedzie. Tell him we sent you. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC. Joining me on the phone line right now from the University of Chicago Institute for Population and Precision Health. That is a mouthful. Jamie King is on the line. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm not going to give that entire title out for the rest of the interview. That's a lot, okay? You're over at UMC, though. And University of Chicago, by the way, I thought it was really neat. Like, my daughter is looking at colleges, and she had not applied there. And they saw her ACT score at Mother Macaulay and like sent her something like, you should apply because we're going to give you a bunch of money. So they're obviously trying to get a lot of like underclassmen, because I've always looked at that school as it's an older school based on its location, most people are doing grad work. It seems like they're trying to get the younger kids in there based upon the offer that she got, which was exciting. And I was like, wow, University of Chicago. I didn't even think that was a possibility. So, I'm learning a little bit about your campus right now.
Yeah, and I actually heard from a colleague whose child also got one of the U Chicago invitations, and apparently it was annoyingly large and very, very red, very U Chicago, saying, "Hey, we want you, come here," which is great.
Yeah, they're definitely doing some outreach. You're doing outreach right now for a cancer prevention study. And you had reached out to us, your department had reached out to us because you'd found Southside Pod, you'd found the Broadcast Basement On Demand Radio Network. And to be honest with you, I know this show has in recent episodes, recent months, had guests on that wanted to promote a march or a run, or there was an event just last episode, Heights Cycle out in Palos Heights was doing an event that was to benefit cancer research. And so it's clearly something that all across the South Side, every family is touched in some way. There's a benefit, it seems like, all the time at some location for somebody going through it. And what you're actually doing is running a very long-term study to try to get more in depth into what causes cancer, who ends up getting cancer. Tell me a little bit about this. Tell people what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the research manager for this study. Dr. Habib Hassan and Dr. Ashwit Kilfoy are the PIs, or the people who kind of run it for the U Chicago site. The Connect for Cancer Prevention study, and I'm just going to call it Connect from now on, partnered with the National Cancer Institute, which is part of the NIH, or the National Institutes of Health, set up the study and had it be one of the largest of our time for cancer research. NCI has partnered with us here at U Chicago along with 6 other integrated healthcare systems. And what we are asking is individuals who are between the ages of 40 and 65, although that might expand in the near future, individuals without a previous history of invasive cancer to join and to fill out surveys, safely share their information from health records, and donate biosamples, and then allow us to follow up with them over 10-year time so that we can get data and information and figure out kind of what the causes of cancer are, if there's any, associations between behavior, lifestyle, environment, et cetera.
I find these kind of studies interesting. I always, whenever there's a study that comes out like eat less of this or do more of this, or, this doesn't benefit you, I always look and say, well, how long were they doing this study for, right? Like if they did it over the course of 2 years, it's like, did you really find something out? 10 years, like, okay, you got a big group and you're going to be studying over a long period of time. But sometimes they're like, hey, you can't eat any more red meat. And I go, well, I love hamburgers, so that's just never going to happen. I mean, do you get affected by the studies? Like, you're doing them, right? Do you all of a sudden sit there and say, well, I guess I can never have a hot dog at a baseball game again?
I am all for moderation, and I think everyone should do it in moderation. I am a meat eater, so, but there are times I think, well, maybe this time I'll eat chicken. But for the most part, moderation. And I will say, to your point, this study is studying the cancer continuum. We want to see the progress over time so that we can, look at the natural history and look at the etiology of cancer. So
you guys were interested. I remember that was a thing. You'd reached out and said, we'd love the talk on Southside Pod. And I mean, our audience is a bunch of Southsiders. And as I mentioned, it's almost impossible to walk around and not see a benefit for somebody, or to see that there's some sort of cause that's going on, some sort of run, something like that is almost always going on the South Side of Chicago, in the South suburbs. Do you guys have an interest specifically in this area? I always feel like I hear more about people that are hit with cancer in this neighborhood than when I lived in California, or when I lived even in Wheeling, West Virginia. Like, it seems like something that's more prevalent, or maybe it's just that people in the neighborhood in the South Side care about each other just a little bit too much, and they're always just taking care of each other. So what do you think it is?
Yeah, so actually, if you look at the statistics over, the last year or two, there are higher cancer mortality rates on the south side of Chicago and in some areas on the west side of Chicago. Having Chicago be located in Hyde Park gives us a very rare and amazing opportunity to reach these people. Now, the south side of Chicago is home to a large Black and African American population, including Latinx populations. And these are individuals that have historically been underrepresented in biomedical research. And the information that we know about cancer right now has not included these populations always. So this is a really large study. Again, it's set to be one of the largest of our time. So we want to make sure that the inferences we're making from this study, from these data, are representative of the actual people in our communities.
You know, with these studies, I'm going to ask because, you know, I love money. Are you paying people for this? This is free?
Yes. So after someone, consents to be in the study and fills out the baseline survey and donates a blood sample, they are eligible for a $25 cash payment. And then we hope that, if they come in the next, we ask that they come in every 2 to 3 years, and we will offer payment for the times that they come in for those instances as well.
See, I remember that because when I was in college, I used to sign up for studies all the time. I was like, all right, I'll do this. I can make a little bit of beer money. I would do that kind of stuff all the time with the studies. I never gave my plasma away. I wasn't going to let them take a ton out of my body. But if it was we want you to go do this thing and you're going to sit in a room and then we're going to run some kind of psychological experiment, I would go do it. I didn't care if they told me I was crazy or not. I just wanted the money. So you do a lot of studies over there. It sounds like that's your job, is just studies.
Well, yes. Chicago is an academic facility, a research facility, and is home to several research studies. I will say our institute in particular, the Institute for Population and Precision Health, or IPPH, is home to quite a few population health research studies as well as some clinical trials. We are a unique part of UChicago that is looking to develop personalized approaches to disease prevention and treatment. So we do offer other studies as well. And we have, if someone is interested, they can go to ipph.uchicago.edu. That will allow them to see some of the other studies that they can join and that they may be eligible for.
Do you ever do any of the studies like beginning of Ghostbusters? You ever hook somebody up to something that's electrical and flip a switch if they can't guess correctly? You ever try something like that over there?
No, I don't think I'd be allowed to.
No? Oh, man, the world's gotten soft.
I know we have some great scientists, but I don't know any mad scientists.
Well, I'm disappointed in that, to be honest with you, Jamie. So what's the process? How do they get this thing going?
Yeah, so anyone can go to myconnect.cancer.gov, and that's how they can sign up online. They can go through the consent process, and then we will verify them on our end. And if they are eligible, then they can start the surveys immediately once they're verified, and then they can come into any one of our clinics. We have clinics here in Hyde Park at DCAM, at River East, the South Loop location, Ingalls Harvey, and soon to be Orland Park locations. You can also catch us on our mobile unit, which we park. It's a huge RV you can't miss, which we park outside of Calumet City. Or, if they don't want to go online first thing, they can just walk into any of those clinics I just mentioned, and our team would be happy to get them going.
All right. So here's the deal. If you want to learn more, go to cancer.gov/connect study. And again, they're looking right now for Southsiders aged 40 to 65 with no history of cancer. And Jamie, good luck with the Connect for Cancer Prevention study. And thanks for telling us all about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
It's now time for your Southside Pod Bulletin Board, brought to you proudly by Spoke and Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop. A full array of wines from all over the world and incredible small plates. It's a 21 and over place. This is not just a bar, it's a lounge. It also has a really cool bar in it. It's got seating if it's date night. Whatever you're looking for, check out a very unique spot, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie. See more at spokeandvinewines.com. Friday night the 20th, The Whistle Sports Bar and Grill, 7537 West 159th Street in Tinley Park. It is a haunted trolley tour. They're going to get on a trolley, check-in starting at about 4 p.m., and they're going to go to Bachelor's Grove, Resurrection Mary, the hitchhiking ghost of Archer Avenue, and so many more spots. Get your tickets at runtopub.net. Also on Friday night, 10 p.m., Riley's Daughter in Oak Lawn, Caution, is playing live. Then on Saturday, things get weird. Back out to Tinley and Sound Growler Brewing Company, the Dark Arts Market is coming. Dark art themed artists and makers at the event. Mysterious, mystical, macabre. Also, some oddities there. Sound Growler's got good beer, they got great tacos, they're indoor-outdoor, it's all ages, and anybody can attend for free. You can also check out the tarot readings, the bone throwers, and so much more. Getting weird at Sound Growler on Saturday. It's even weirder in Lamont, the 8th annual Pirate Pub Crawl. This is where people dress up as pirates and then move throughout Lamont drinking. Yeah, it's a real thing. See more at lamontdowntown.com. Also on Saturday, kicking off in the mid-afternoon around 4 p.m., Rock Island Public House has October Fiesta. It's Oktoberfest, it's German, but it's also a little Mexican. Food, music, beer, fun. Get your lederhosen and a big old hat. And then later on, walk down the street. Don't fall into the street. Old Western Avenue is an absolute mess right now. But if you can make your way down, it's only a block. Blue Island Beer Company at 7 p.m., Fierce Atmospheres, Ouroboros, and Abigail. All three bands playing, doors at $7, $10 cover. If you don't know those bands, they're metal. As we get closer to Halloween, these events sound really cool. I might be very busy this weekend on the South Side. That's your Southside Pod Bulletin Board. The last segment brought to you by sidsauce.net. They grow the peppers here on the South Side. They make the hot sauces, the only hot sauces we have here at the 9-foot Homemade Oak Bar. They deliver to your door for free in most areas around the South Side. See everything they have to offer at sidsauce.net. We mentioned it last week. Bill has the haunt on Hamlin, 109th and Hamlin. This thing gets covered by news stations all around Chicagoland. It is one of those awesome houses that you go and you check out everything going on in front of it. Flames shooting in the air. It's finally up. I saw it on the Facebook page this week, buddy. What is new with the haunt on Hamlin?
Well,
because you have homemade stuff and then you have stuff you buy. So sometimes you've homemade some things that are really creepy.
I'm really going to sell it here because
Okay.
I think I'm going to be disappointed this year.
Really?
I ended up buying a storage locker. I bought somebody's out. Some guy had a display in Tinley, and I bought his whole display at once.
You bought another person's entire
Yeah, I
display?
acquired him like a company. I'm
Holy
like the
crap.
Elon Musk of Halloween.
You know, he's on the corner and he's already started to bleed down the block. And I imagine now it's going to look like a playground when
but
people go to
my
this.
theme kind of disappeared because I got so much new stuff.
Uh-oh.
So-
Do you have campy stuff and things that don't match and things
I don't
like
know.
that?
I'm trying to do a thing this year, and I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to be a trial. I think this year more than anything, it's going to be visually impressive, but it's going to be one of those displays where you just go, Jesus, this guy wasted a lot of money. You know,
Well,
I used to be like, wow, that guy homemade
Is there
that.
anything
And that was
you're going to
cool.
retire?
Secondhand
Are you going to
display
retire
money.
anything?
There's a lot of things.
At
that I
some
can't
point, you
put
got to
up.
retire some things,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of
I mean,
things
don't
I
you have a
can't
thing
put
where there's a pig person that's in the yard?
Yeah,
or
the pigs
something?
aren't going up this year.
The pigs aren't going up this year. Okay, all right. And so I mean,
No
you
flying
have
pigs?
he has some creepy things
No
that
Pink Floyd go in the background with the flying pigs?
Is there something from the storage locker that stands out?
I'm doing a whole witch's coven in the corner this year.
Really?
So it used to be I had a whole theme, and no one knew about the theme except for me, which was so stupid. And
What was the theme?
My wife used to make fun of me.
What
But
was the theme?
it started, 15 years ago with just a graveyard, and then
I
it went
remember that.
into, and
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
homemade tombstones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of made it where a farmer ended up buying this land. In my head, this is the whole story I made up.
You had a story
Yes.
for
No one knew
109th
it
and
but me.
109th and Hamlin. There's a story. We have it
The
exclusively.
farmer bought
here.
the land,
Yeah.
and then the creatures came up, and then they eventually, next year they captured him, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then all the pig people came.
The pig people. I remember the pig people. Yeah.
they killed him, and he became one of them. It was a whole thing that just
That's
grew.
right, because you had a farmer that was a pig
Oh,
person.
it sounds stupid, but it
Yeah.
helped me make my.
So
theme.
you're telling me that
That
if you
theme's
went to 109th
gone.
and Hamlin every year for the last 10 years, it was a
It was
continuing
It's a
story.
concept album.
Really?
No
Can
one
I-
knew about it but me, though.
Can
mean,
I
I
see
think
your
that's
notes? I
amazing.
would like to see your notes.
All
on it.
internal.
Did you video any of this? Is there
Yeah,
a way?
I have some.
Can we put a compilation where the story grows over the years and put it up online?
I guess you can, but no one's gonna understand it.
I will put it
You
up on
gotta put
Southside
the
Pod.
Pod.
It
It'd
was
be
more for me.
amazing.
It was
You
more
gotta
for
put
me,
the
like I
words
said.
behind it.
But this year, I'm gonna have just different sections as you walk by. I'm gonna have a whole witch's coven, then I'm gonna have a whole skeleton crew, then a whole like haunted pumpkin patch as you walk through, and then maybe clowns in a corner, but I'm not sure.
Do the kids get freaked out by it?
Absolutely. I was testing my stuff in the garage, and I had this guy who was called the Soul Sucker, like standing outside my garage.
Soul Sucker.
And these girls were coming back, and I'm in the garage, so I'm listening to music, and I just hear the most blood curdling scream ever out on the lawn, and I just ran out there.
Was your
I figured,
wife,
like,
right?
someone got hit by a car or someone's getting abducted, right? So I ran out there. These girls saw that. They ran round to the corner and saw this like giant like
It was your
demon.
girls? Or other
No,
girls?
it was some random neighborhood
I
girls.
was asking about your girls.
Well, they love it.
They're fine. Are they going to be weird when they get older?
Probably. It's the Southside! It's the Southside! It's the Southside Pod! Thanks for listening! Thanks for tuning in to the Southside Pod! Milk it!